whispers of chaos are shaking Marvel Studios to its core. Behind the polished trailers and billion-dollar hype machine, rumors suggest that sparks have already flown on the set of Avengers: Doomsday. Not from the epic battles you'll eventually see on screen, but between two of Hollywood's biggest names, Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds. Reports claim that a joke crossed the line, egos collided, and the fallout forced Marvel to shuffle its schedule. Could the MCU's most ambitious film already be spiraling into behind-the-scenes disaster? Stick around, because this story is wilder than anything you'll see in the movie itself. The whispers didn't start with Marvel itself. They began in the cracks of the internet, in late-night podcast chatter and cryptic posts that spread like wildfire. Someone claimed that during the early weeks of Avengers Doomsday filming, a playful comment between two cast members suddenly shifted the energy on set. What should have been harmless banter apparently cut too close, landing more like an insult than a joke. Crew members described the atmosphere as tense and uncomfortable, and within hours, the story leapt from closed circles into the public domain. Although no official names were attached, fans wasted no time connecting the dots. Who else but Robert Downey Jr., the man returning in the shocking new role of Dr. Doom, and Ryan Reynolds, Marvel's wildcard, finally stepping into the Avengers spotlight? Both are known for their strong personalities, razor-sharp wit, and ironclad reputations. If anyone on that set was going to clash, the fandom decided it had to be them. Social media detectives immediately began dissecting every shred of available footage, from cast announcement clips to leaked set photos. Entire Reddit threads debated whether Reynolds' smirk in one behind-the-scenes shot looked a little too forced, while others pointed out how Downey's absence from certain cast photos might hint at a rift. Conspiracy-style YouTube breakdowns cropped up overnight, stitching together timelines and supposed eyewitness accounts. The chatter got so loud that even casual Marvel fans couldn't ignore it. For many, the thought of Tony Stark's legendary actor locking horns with Deadpool's snarky kingpin was too explosive to dismiss. Was it really just a joke gone wrong? Or was this the first sign that Marvel's most ambitious crossover was already being torn apart from the inside? And the wildest part? This was only the beginning, because soon the whispers shifted from playful rumors to stories of full-blown production chaos. For years, Robert Downey Jr. has been the face of Marvel, the man who turned Tony Stark into a cultural icon and practically carried the MCU on his back. So when Marvel brought him back in Avengers: Doomsday, not as Iron Man, but in the chilling role of Dr. Doom, expectations skyrocketed. Fans assumed Marvel would bend over backward to keep him happy. But according to industry chatter, Downey may have taken that control even further than anyone expected. Insiders claim Disney's original plan was simple: use stand-ins to shoot scenes of Dr. Doom in full armor, while Downey recorded his dialogue off-camera. That way, they could move faster and save the actor from grueling days inside the heavy costume. For the first 2 or 3 weeks, this method seemed to work. Body doubles and face doubles performed, while Downey delivered lines from the sidelines. But then, the whispers say, everything changed. According to reports from podcaster Jeff Snyder, Downey suddenly pulled the brakes, telling Marvel the footage wasn't working. He allegedly insisted that every single scene be redone with him physically in the suit, no exceptions. This demand supposedly forced Disney to scrap weeks of material, bringing in crews for a 3-week reshoot that cost millions of dollars. And here's the kicker: Downey was already rumored to be earning between $50 to $60 million per film. To many, the idea that Marvel had to throw away expensive footage just to satisfy him sounded both shocking and inevitable. Behind the scenes, the tension was described as chaotic, with one insider even comparing the dysfunction to the notorious feud between Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson on the Fast and Furious sets. On those films, egos collided so often that actors reportedly refused to be on set at the same time. Now, the same kind of energy was being whispered about inside Marvel's crown jewel project. Some crew members allegedly respected Downey's move, seeing it as proof of his perfectionism. After all, this is the man who helped set Marvel's gold standard. Why would he settle for less than the best? But others described his demand as a power play, a signal that on the set of Avengers: Doomsday, there was only one way forward: Robert Downey Jr.'s way. And for Ryan Reynolds, a star equally known for his charisma and sharp instincts, that kind of dominance might not have sat well. Which begs the question, what happens when two of Hollywood's biggest personalities both think their way is the only way? If Robert Downey Jr. was Marvel's past, Ryan Reynolds was supposed to be its future. After a string of box office stumbles, from Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania to the Marvels, the studio needed more than just another Avenger. They needed a proven moneymaker. Enter Reynolds, whose Deadpool films not only raked in massive profits, but also turned him into a cultural force. The kind of actor who could draw audiences even when superhero fatigue was at its peak. Bringing Deadpool into Avengers. Doomsday wasn't just a cameo stunt. It was a calculated gamble. Marvel wanted Reynolds' brand of sharp, irreverent humor injected straight into their most ambitious ensemble since Endgame. And behind the scenes, that meant Reynolds wasn't simply a supporting player. He was positioned as one of the key figures tasked with revitalizing the MCU's reputation. Fans understood this. Industry insiders whispered about it. And most importantly, Reynolds himself knew the weight of the role. But that's where the tension begins to make sense. On one side, you had Robert Downey Jr., the godfather of the MCU, returning with the expectation that he still commanded the throne. On the other, you had Ryan Reynolds, Marvel's new ace, arriving with his own confidence, his own comedic edge, and a character designed to steal scenes. It was like placing two alphas in the same cage and hoping they'd harmonize instead of collide. Rumors swirled that Marvel even adjusted shooting schedules to keep things balanced. Some reports claimed the studio rearranged call sheets so Downey and Reynolds wouldn't have to share too much time on set. Others suggested certain scenes were filmed in isolation, with the actors' parts stitched together later, just to prevent flare-ups. While none of this has been officially confirmed, the fact that fans believed it shows just how much credibility the rumors had gained. And then there was the public narrative. Social media was quick to frame Reynolds as the playful instigator, the kind of actor who would drop a joke just to lighten the mood. Downey, meanwhile, was cast as the iron-fisted veteran, unwilling to bend on his creative vision. Whether that's true or not, it created a powerful dynamic for fans to chew on. Marvel's past and future colliding in real time. For Marvel Studios, this was a double-edged sword. The drama added publicity, but it also risked overshadowing the film itself. Instead of fans talking about the plot, the cameos, or the multiverse chaos, the headlines focused on whether their two most charismatic stars could even stand to be in the same room. And as every marketer knows, perception can make or break a blockbuster. The stage was set, one legend demanding control, another riding in as Marvel's box office savior. The only question was whether the MCU could survive the sparks flying between them. If there's one thing Marvel fans love almost as much as the movies themselves, it's dissecting rumors. And when whispers of a Robert Downey Jr. versus Ryan Reynolds feud hit the internet, it didn't take long before the fandom turned into a digital battleground. The first sparks showed up on Twitter, with posts claiming "Streets," saying Ryan Reynolds and RDJ fought on the Doomsday set. That single line spread like wildfire, shared thousands of times, spawning a flood of memes that imagined Iron Man trading blows with Deadpool. Not in the script, but behind the cameras. Fans jokingly wrote fake dialogue captions over set photos, turning the supposed feud into a comedy sketch. But beneath the humor, real concern was growing. On Reddit, the speculation went into overdrive. Entire threads dedicated to the Doomsday drama popped up overnight. Amateur detectives pored over blurry set photos, claiming to spot tension in cast body language. Some pointed to group shots, where Downey and Reynolds weren't standing next to each other, spinning theories that Marvel's PR team was intentionally keeping them apart. Others pulled quotes from old interviews, comparing Downey's ironclad control with Reynolds' quick wit, framing it as a personality clash that was always destined to happen. YouTube commentary channels jumped in next, uploading explainer videos with titles like RDJ versus Reynolds, Marvel's Doomsday Feud Explained. These videos mixed facts, speculation, and fan theories into viral content that only fueled the hype further. The algorithms did the rest, pushing the rumor into the feeds of millions who might never have heard about it otherwise. Fans themselves were split into camps. One group panicked, convinced the feud would sink Marvel's most ambitious movie. This could tank the film, one user warned, echoing fears that internal drama would overshadow the story on screen. Another camp saw the chaos as proof of passion. Clashes happen when people care, one fan tweeted. If Ryan and RDJ really went at it, that just shows the energy behind the project. Energy like that makes the best scenes. Some fans even spun the situation as free marketing, arguing that the controversy was building more buzz for Avengers, Doomsday than any official trailer could. Every rumor, every meme, every half-baked theory added fuel to the fire, making the supposed feud part of the movie's mythology long before release day. What started as a whispered joke on a podcast had now evolved into a global talking point, dominating Marvel forums, trending hashtags, and entertainment headlines. And the irony? Neither Downey nor Reynolds had said a single word publicly. The silence only made the speculation louder, leaving fans to fill in the blanks however they wanted. By this point, the Doomsday feud wasn't just a rumor. It was a storyline, one unfolding off-screen, with millions of fans as its audience. And the next chapter would make the drama even messier. A single joke that went way too far. At the center of the storm lies a story so simple it almost sounds unbelievable. A single joke. According to insiders, the fuse for all the chaos on Avengers. Doomsday wasn't a creative dispute over the script, or a fight about screen time, or even Marvel's famously tight shooting schedules. It was a comment, a line tossed out in jest, meant to break the ice. But as one podcaster put it, the remark was a bit too familiar. These weren't lifelong friends ribbing each other. These were two Hollywood titans, each commanding millions, each with reputations as sharp as their characters, meeting under the crushing pressure of Marvel's biggest gamble since Endgame. When the joke landed, it didn't spark laughter. It sparked silence, then visible tension. Insider John Rocha described it bluntly on The Christian Harloff Show. One actor confronted the other immediately, making it clear that the line had crossed a boundary. From there, things escalated fast. Voices were raised. Crew members looked on nervously. Some reports even claimed that production temporarily paused while Marvel's team worked to defuse the situation. The exact words of the joke have never been revealed, which only made fans more obsessed. Was it about Downey's unexpected return to Marvel as Doctor Doom instead of Iron Man? Was it a jab at Reynolds' irreverent Deadpool humor clashing with the MCU's serious tone? Or was it something deeply personal, tied to the actors themselves? Nobody knows for sure, and the mystery only added fuel to the fire. According to rumors, Marvel didn't take the incident lightly. Some insiders claimed the studio quickly rearranged filming schedules, ensuring the two stars wouldn't have to share the spotlight for long stretches. Others whispered that financial incentives were quietly offered to keep the peace, essentially paying to keep tempers cool. One source even suggested the studio weighed the option of reshooting key sequences separately, planning to stitch them together in editing to avoid further flare-ups. And yet, even with all the precautions, the damage was already done. The story of the joke gone too far leaked, spreading from niche podcasts to entertainment blogs to mainstream headlines. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't about Avengers, Doomsday's ambitious multiverse storyline. It was about whether Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds could even be in the same room without clashing. For fans, the idea was both shocking and oddly fitting. Downey was the MCU's elder statesman, a perfectionist unwilling to compromise. Reynolds was the snarky outsider, brought in to save the franchise with his offbeat humor. Put them together, and one misplaced punchline was all it took to turn the set into a pressure cooker. And if Marvel thought the fire would die down quickly, they were wrong. Because once the public heard the words ego clash and on-set fight, the entire production was branded with chaos. What should have been a fun behind-the-scenes moment had now become the internet's favorite theory, that Avengers Doomsday wasn't just a movie, it was a battlefield. The fallout from these reports painted Avengers Doomsday as one of Marvel's most chaotic productions ever. Stories emerged of body doubles being used while rewrites happened in real time. Some insiders claimed that entire sequences had to be redone because of disagreements among the cast and creative team. Adding fuel to the fire, the release date was quietly pushed back from May 2026 to December 2026, a 7-month delay that fans immediately linked to the rumored disputes. Industry sources described the set as filled with testosterone and ego, a perfect storm of powerful personalities pulling in different directions. And all of this came at a time when Marvel desperately needed a win, as if the rumors weren't messy enough. Some fans connected the drama to Ryan Reynolds' personal life. Around the same time, his wife Blake Lively was reportedly caught up in legal battles, adding another layer of stress to Reynolds' already packed schedule. While there's no evidence that her situation had anything to do with the on-set conflict, speculation online ran wild. Fans began weaving theories that personal frustrations spilled over into professional disputes, creating even more buzz around the supposed feud. None of this was confirmed, but in the court of public opinion, perception often matters more than fact. The timing couldn't be worse for Marvel. After a string of box office disappointments, the studio needed Avengers Doomsday to prove the MCU still had its magic. The Russo brothers were brought back to recapture the glory of Endgame, and Marvel packed the cast with heavyweights. From Chris Hemsworth and Benedict Cumberbatch to surprise returns from X-Men veterans like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. And yet, the biggest headlines weren't about the star-studded lineup or the multiverse storyline. They were about egos colliding behind the scenes. For fans, this raised the biggest question of all. If Marvel can't control its own stars, how can it control its universe? So, did Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds actually clash on the set of Avengers Doomsday? The truth may never be fully confirmed. Some insiders say apologies were exchanged and peace was restored. Others insist the feud is ongoing and Marvel is scrambling to contain the damage. What we do know is this: the film is still on track for December 18th, 2026, and the hype around it has never been higher. Whether the rumors are fact or fiction, they've already added an aura of unpredictability to one of Marvel's most anticipated movies. The only real question now is simple: will Avengers Doomsday go down as Marvel's greatest comeback, or will behind-the-scenes drama doom it before it even hits theaters?